James Marshall's Cinderella is a pretty decent version of the story of Cinderella. This was released in 2006. It's directed by Virginia Wilkos, written by Barbara Karlin, and it's narrated by Stephanie J. Block. And it is following the pretty classic story of Cinderella about the stepsister, who was forced to do everybody else's work. She couldn't go to the ball. I won't go into too much detail. I'm assuming most people are aware of the story of Cinderella. That being said, if you're not, do I think this is the first one that you should watch? No, not necessarily. I think there are many other versions of Cinderella that are maybe more in-depth. But if you're an existing fan of Cinderella and you're looking for a different way to enjoy the story, then this is a pretty good one to go with. It's about 10 minutes, give or take, and the animation is pretty decent. It's based on the illustrations by James Marshall, and it's a pleasant way to enjoy the story. The pacing is very good. The narration is great. It's very clear and easy to follow. And in general, I found it to be quite delightful. Cinderella is obviously a classic story, and there are, of course, many, many versions of Cinderella out there. But I feel like this one's definitely worth watching. The animation is very well done. We have a gorgeous, bright colour palette. The characters are all very well done. And as I said, the narration is pretty good as well. I won't go into too much more detail than that, because if you're aware of the story, then it's worth checking out. And if you're not aware of the story, as I said, I'd say this might not be the best introduction to the story of Cinderella. I'd have to say the Disney classic feature film is probably the best introduction, but I am a Disney fan, so of course I'm going to say that. If you have a favourite version of Cinderella, please do feel free to let me know. I'd always be on the lookout for other versions that I haven't seen before, and this one is definitely a good one. James Marshall's Cinderella is bright, bold, colourful, a nice way to enjoy the story, really well narrated. I have no complaints. If you're looking for a version of Cinderella that you haven't seen and you have 10 minutes to spare, this is a pretty decent one to go with.